Thank you for joining me again. It's TMI Tuesday, and I did say the topic for today is on national security, examining policies and politics. And discussing this with me from my immediate left, I have a custodian of the law, a constitutional lawyer, and a notary public. He served in the government of former Governor Adams Oshomole as an SSA on legal matters. Adams Aliyu. Thanks for coming, Adams.
Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you, moderator.
And next to him, I have a frontline political activist and civil rights campaigner, Chief Osagie Patrick. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, viewers.
Chief Osagie Patrick is also known as Ultimate Equal and President of One Love. And next to him, I have an educationist and president of Association for Formidable Educational Development, AFED, Osagie Godsent Erunse. Thanks for coming, Osagie.
My pleasure, Phil. Good morning, dears.
And Osagie is also an executive director of African Emancipation Movement. Well, like I did say, we're looking at these whole issues that are coming up in different bundles. Basically, they say that for any polity to thrive, there must be security, there must be peace. And you agree with me, Adams Aliyu, because you are starting this throw, looking at what we've been experiencing over the years, the advent of Boko Haram in 2009, which gives us the picture and deepened picture of over a decade that we've been fighting to decimate this group. And till now, we can remember vividly even the dawn of the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, how hopes were flying, how confidence was building over the insurgents being decimated. But all of this seems to be going backward, not seeing any way forward in terms of abating this fight. What do you have to say? Is this a matter of playing politics with security?
Well, it is very unfortunate because the Constitution is clear. In chapter 2, section 14, sub 2, sub B, that security and welfare shall be the purpose of governments. Even when you go to chapter 4, fundamental human rights, the first among the 14 human rights, that is in section 33, is right to life. But nowadays, life is meaningless. Today, herdsmen kill 20, tomorrow herdsmen kill 5. So here we are. So it is very worrisome that the security apparatus or the agencies are falling apart.
Some argue that this present government or President Muhammadu Buhari seems not to be having a definite approach in quelling this crisis.
Well, it is a personal issue and determination. We have very able people in charge of the defense and security of the country. Chief of Army Staff was 24 regular corps. Chief of Navy Staff was 23 regular corps. And Chief of Air Staff, 24 corps. So these are regular combatant, well-trained people that know what to do. I'm sure something not yet disclosed is hindering this malingering of the security. Otherwise, if it was Ghana, Togo, Cameroon fighting us for 10 years, we'll be able to defeat them.
Okay. Let's take a statement credited to the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mongono, retired. I'm throwing that at you, Patrick, where he did say that the setback they've been having in fighting the insurgency fight is as a result of the meddling of the Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, and that Abba Kyari is fond of dishing orders to the service chiefs without the knowledge of President Muhammadu Buhari. What do you think that is?
Well, you know, you don't expect to put nothing in something and expect to get something from it. The issue is that President Muhammadu Buhari is not in charge. Abu Kyari is the Chief of Staff. Our constitutional lawyer can attest to that he has no power of such, of any kind, to give order to
as a chief of staff.
Yeah, he has no power at all. It's there.
So,
okay?
so we're trying to see the reason for this and the relationship.
The reason for that is that President Muhammad Buhari is not in charge. He doesn't really know what is happening around him. That's the most unfortunate part of it, you know. And also, too...
Would that be right to say? Because
I'm saying,
he is the commander-in-chief.
I'm saying that you can have...
anything that has to do with security matters
you
must go through his office.
You brought it up, and I know that viewers and you will all read. It was in the newspaper yesterday. What you are saying is not speculation, it's the truth. So if it is truth that the chief of staff can give a directive to a chief of army staff, don't you think something is wrong? Something is wrong. It's not. It doesn't happen anywhere.
And to see that it's coming from the National Security Advisor.
Yes, it's very wrong, and we cannot condone that. But again, let me go back to your question. You see, where we have issue here, a lot of folk come out here, you ask us questions, we answer to your questions to the best of your knowledge. You've invited our father here today since 7:30. It's 9 o'clock. There's no apology, nothing, but it's okay. It's Nigeria.
We apologize for that.
Okay, thank you. So, I've said so. Yeah. So, having said that, you see, he's a lawyer. He has quoted the Constitution for you that the paramount thing for a government is life and property. Life and property and security is very paramount. So, these three basic things, we don't have it. And besides that, if you say
these three basic things, we don't have it, you may be wrong. We have life.
No, I mean, we don't have life. Is our life protected?
We have property.
Are you saying
that you don't have property?
You see, when you have life,
okay. I think what you want to say is protection of life.
It's not protected. If it's not guaranteed, you have life.
Adequate protection.
Yes,
you can't say it's not protected.
It's not protected.
You have to take
if you use the word
army and the police off now as we speak. You can't be saying here.
If you use the word adequate, you are going extreme.
Really?
You are saying protection. Don't use the word adequate. We don't have protection. You are saying adequate. What is adequate?
What is adequate?
We should have protection before adequate. Again, let's go back to your question. Now, it can also tell you again, because the constitutional lawyer, if you go to our constitution on subsection 6 again, can define that to you, right? That you have 35 years of service. Okay? After 35 years of service, you can retire. Or it's compulsory you retire. But if you are so good, the government also have a right to employ you as a contractor, then you continue your service. But for Abukare or for some people to literally just give a continuation of any service chief, I think is wrong. And I also think that the days of fighting war with AK-47 is also over. I think the real thing we should do here is to look at these service chiefs, to see those who are due for retirement, they should be retired, and those who are still there, forcing themselves in this service and not providing the service we need to us, so apologize to us and retire in shame. And if you are bringing new people in, you should bring new idea, not just the idea, but you also bring new weapons. People fight war now with drone. You know what happened with a general from Iran. I mean, you are aware of it, sir. When the President of America, Donald Trump, ordered his assassination, nobody took AK-47 start fighting. It is time we stop nepotism. Now, it will interest you that on R5 birthday yesterday, Sanusi, the Emir of Kanu, lamented over what we'll be saying here, that out of 40 million children who are not currently in school, 13 million of them are Northerners, and they are Amajari. It's a disservice to the people from the north. We are all Nigerians. And I think this nepotism should stop. Okay, the problem we are having is about nepotism. We do not take the qualified people. And that's the same thing that is happening in institution when we have what they call blocking. Okay, let me just finish this. You have blocking, you have somebody reading medicine, you block. Do you, I mean, you are educationist. You are aware that they have what they call the miracle centers. Why would you be a part of that, a part of this service to shame your children in future because you want your child to have A+ that he or she did not work adequately for? Okay. Let me use your word now, adequately.
Okay, thank you. I'm so peculiar, I'm so concerned about the seemingly blame game that is taking place over the security fight. Now, there was a point where they said that, well, there should be a shake-up in the president's cabinet and the service chiefs in order to bring about a very viral and robust fight against the insecurity issues we're having. Now, this blame game coming from the NSA, what do you think about this?
Let me begin by saying that it's so sad, because sometimes I like to tell people in the South here, because your parents or your brother or sister have never been victim of these gruesome murders, so you don't know how terrible it is, the psychological drama. To wake up every morning and you are not sure whether you will see another day, you know, whether you will even live in the next 24 hours. I just had an experience of one of my parents in school that was just released by these bandits, you know, by these kidnappers, Answer Fulani to be precise. You know, and he's an imam. Of
one of your parents?
Yes, one of the parents of my children. I have a school, I run
a
school.
Okay.
You know, that was just being released just last week. You know, the stories are heartbreaking.
And it's always a recurring death.
See, you know, this man lamented. You know, this is where we got it wrong. I've always said on different platforms, when you politicize security, religion, and ethnicity, you don't have a government. It's sad to say that many times we come here and we want to try to be sentimental about our political affiliations. And part of the things I've also always appealed to the politicians for, the current Nigeria situation have gone beyond being politically sentimental, sorry. We have to rise up and save the situation.
Okay, at what point can you say that the leadership is missing it? At what point?
At what, okay, let me give you 3 instances. For example, what are you doing with service chief who cannot give you results? Of what sense does it make to hire a manager of a company, and before my very eyes, the company is running down and running at a loss? Before my very eyes, the situation has become worse than before. And listen,
but if you are saying that, are you also considering the statement credited to NSA, Major General Babangana Mongono?
See,
what makes you think that the service chiefs are not adding up or pacing up to what they should? Is it not also possible that the orders given to them really contradict the fight?
See, I can't even blame the chief of army staff, the NSA, because we have a president. Everything rise and fall on leadership. So we are not going to start shifting blames. If we have a president, we expect him to protect us. I'm happy about what our constitutional lawyer used. He said, according to the constitution, the main purpose of government should be the security of life. I have always opined and hold this idea that any government that cannot secure its people should not even be allowed to stay. Security is first, before development, before health, before education. What are you going to do when you are not even sure of your safety? I drove through the bypass to this place. I was praying, sign of the cross all through. Because I'm looking left and right, just trying to imagine what will happen any moment from now. Okay, and let me quickly say this. The reason why I'm not done, the reason why I had to bring a little an example of one of my parents that just came out from kidnapping is because he said something so touching. He said they just stopped at an army checking point, just few kilometers away. He said the distance is so close that they couldn't imagine. Nobody could interpret what is going on. Just a short distance, their vehicle was taken over.
Well, I think that's a sad narrative. Very sad. Thank you. I pause you there. Well, this is actually what is the bite that we're going to be having on the discussion today. But we're going to be expanding the frontiers of this discussion after this break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you for staying with me on TMI Tuesday, still on national security, examining policies and politics. I take a dive at the aspect of the release, the demand for the release of Leah Sharibo that has been on. And would you say that the federal government is treating this issue with kid gloves?
Where there is politics involved, otherwise the melodrama shouldn't have been elongated to 2 years. An innocent girl kidnapped, others released. We hear she has been forced to marry a commander, and even had a child. And what type of, I know it may be suicidal to use bomb and the rest to locate her, but 2 years have passed. 2 years cannot be 1 day. So the federal government is always assuring us. And I am now thinking, if we were fighting another country, the enemy location is known between Republic of Niger and Nigeria have somewhere this is in the forest. And upon all the training, that Nigerian soldiers, Air Force, people are entitled to an outgoing. I think it is fair to release. If it is being negotiated, government has the money. And I'm sure these very Boko Haram people, they are equally humans.
But it depends on how the negotiation is going to take, because there are also issues of demanding for their brothers that are in the custody of the government.
They want
So would that not be a terrible one?
They will now want tit for tat, what we call quid pro quo, that you release our brothers in detention before we release this innocent girl.
Do you subscribe to that?
The federal government has all it takes, and I'm sure if it is sincere, it will set free.
Okay. Thank you.
And let's be optimistic.
Thank you. Optimistic. Well, by your poor view in that direction.
Well, you know, let's dissect a little bit. You know, first of all, if we have used a Boy Scout, I'm sure we can rescue that girl.
Boy Scout.
Yeah, we'll rescue the girl. I mean, I'm not trying to joke here.
Boy Scout don't hold weapons.
I'm telling you, the reason I said that is that, okay, the military has been diminished. Yeah. They're not motivated.
Sabotage.
Okay, you look at...
you may be wrong for saying that.
No, I'm not wrong. You see some video going viral. Philip, please, let's not try to confuse the idea of the viewers, okay? Let's make point out of what we're talking about. I can't be wrong. This is there even out for 2 years. When our military men were falling down as if they have coronavirus virus, they were dying because there were no fluids, there were no water to drink. And money were budgeted on this, okay? And when they died, they died. The family are not recognized. The children are back to the streets. There's no befitting bearer for them. There's no insurance. There's nothing.
Okay, are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is that
in terms of severance payment or allowances given to them.
What is not worth living for is not worth dying for.
Okay, what about weaponry? Because
there's nothing.
We have the two aircraft that the federal government is procuring.
We use carbide. We use carbide. It's not whether they use carbide or use no card. Other countries are, like Rwanda, they are using drone. Even it will interest you that it's a Benin indigenous citizen from Ego that did the most powerful drone for American government. Okay, so there are possibilities. What happened here is about nepotism and fraud. Before now, the military will have combatants. They are very serious. They are proud to be military officers. But now, they are proud to drive a G-Wagon and a Bentley. And that's not military.
So what you're saying is that the federal government should reposition its priorities.
They have
set them right.
It's about priority. They did not prioritize what they are doing. And then if they can, it is not carrying a placard to France embassy protesting, or the election was ringing Imo. We should at least let's get Israelis involved. Let's get the KGB. Let's get the CIA. Let's exchange oil for them to train our soldiers again or to rescue our victims of kidnappers. What if they were your children? Have we not suffered enough? Why can we continue to live like this? Why can we continue to play politics with the lives of our children?
Okay, now we used to call the Boko Haram sect a faceless group, but they are not having faces. Now, a situation where they are making demands, they're making ransoms, and also exchanges. Would you subscribe to the fact that the government should negotiate?
Well, you know, I don't know what to subscribe to. What I think that anyone has not even subscribed to is what the current administration is doing by releasing the suspected Boko Harams. You arrest them. If you arrest Yahoo boys, you don't take them for orientations.
Okay, you're talking about the de-radicalized Boko Haram members.
What do you radicalize? They've not even faced any persecution. They've not even been tried. They've not even been subjected to any punishment.
But they've repented.
No, how can you repent when you are going back again to the Sabisa forest? I mean, let us be human. Let us be serious in what we are talking about.
Has there been any proof or evidence yet that they are going back again to Sabisa forest?
I tell you something. If you look at what happened in England, very recent, when you have even in this society that had intelligence, Suspects were released from prison after doing their time. They went on rampage. They're taking knife and stabbing people. That was
where?
That was even in England.
Not Nigeria.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about an enabling environment. People who have vast of intelligence. It happens there. Talk less of Nigeria, who cannot even fight a war with bus cards.
So what you're saying is that there's every possibility that that can occur.
There is possibilities occurring, not there's every possibility that it might occur. Why are we releasing them? First of all, we should leave them in prison. We should cage them and use them into some labor, farming, integrate them back to the society after paying, after paying for their crime. And I think the law will agree to this.
Would that be the best way to go?
Let me come through this way. You see, for me,
are you helping the society in that direction?
See, Phil, we need to call a spade a spade. For me, this government is laughable. You know, because people like me, the commoners, I just get fed up. Because every day you keep on seeing new development, new killings, and all we keep on seeing now there's a threat, you must not protest against this government, and all kind of funny stuff. You know, we tend, in this part of the world, we customize incompetence. When a man is incompetent, he's incompetent. When a man has failed, he has failed. See, the security problem of this nation does not lie with external forces. It lies with us. It's internal. Our problem is internal. You've released a number of, ex-suicidal or insurgents in the name of rehabilitation.
Being
now,
radicalized.
Take note, the war is still on. You are still sending some of them into the same military. While we are still in the war, it's not as if the war has abated.
Oh my God.
Which country does that?
So
sometimes I wonder.
Are you saying that could also jeopardize?
Okay, what happened in Delta? Are you not aware of what happened in Delta
Dangerous.
recently? Even the governor said they were heated. What happened in Delta recently? Just recently.
Well, thank you.
So we have a lot of leaders that it seems as if they get into position and leave their senses at home.
Thank you, Osage God Center, without casting aspersions to any personalities. Well, I think there's much we can take here over the security issues, but let's delve into briefly. I think we can have just a few seconds to do that each. Into the ripples coming from Bayelsa governorship polls that has just been decided by the Supreme Court. On the papers is on that the party is heading for the Supreme Court, and you are a custodian of the law, and can a Supreme Court judgment be reversed? Because that's where it's going.
Yes, it can be reversed. There are precedents, although not common, and there are conditions precedent before it can be done. When a party is dissatisfied, if you look at chapter 35, you have right to fair hearing. So you can file your papers again to the same Supreme Court to revisit the issue that it has agreed to revisit the issue, a matter that was already decided. Ordinarily in law is res judicata, decided matter, but it can be revisited if the circumstances that led it to take that decision was wrong or presumptuous.
Okay, but in this case, what will you say?
In this very case, it was a unanimous decision by the Supreme Court judges.
No sentiments?
No sentiment. Unanimous. Not 2-5 or 4-3. That is one.
So and that makes it more credible.
And anybody who is agreeing has the right, or the authority party, hear the other side, to continue to agitate and fire. As we are talking now, file a motion as we are talking now. Second judgment is to be delivered on Imo by today. That it is being delivered is not a symptom that the court will reverse. It can miss today and reaffirm its earlier decision.
Okay, its earlier decision. It may.
It's probability.
And it may also go the other way.
Yeah, we are always speculating.
Is it not also possible? Yeah, it's also possible it may go the other way.
Yes, but you haven't filed a motion because
has there been any evidence or any outcome?
There are precedents where
that the Supreme Court will go the other.
Yes, reverse. But what people who are very speculative, they are not patient. They heard that APC, for example, is going to court over Bayelsa. They are wondering why should Supreme Court entertain it. And then we entertain, they could come with the verdict that we stand by our former decision.
Reaffirm.
And everywhere we are reaffirmed. So, but they are entitled to fair hearing.
Okay, Chief Patrick Eholo, I want your viewpoint in this direction.
You see, the point is that if we are living in an ideal world, Nigeria is not an ideal world. I believe that the issue that we have in Nigeria is because, my father knows that a woman named Nigeria, and it's an abomination. Even in the Western world, even in the Catholic, the man will name a son before the wife, okay? So I think those are part of the causes this country might have.
That woman is, you may be wrong if you say that. Because if you say an ideal world...
I'm talking about my own opinion here. Because
are you sure there's any country that is ideal?
I'm telling you, yes, of course. What do you mean? Is this an ideal world?
Because
this is an ideal world.
There are also...
Don't take my time. Let me flow, please.
Let me flow.
Let me flow, please, okay? So what I'm saying is that in an ideal world, if judiciary, and you agree to this as a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer, that the Supreme Court are not perfect. They're not perfect. They are bound to make error in judgment. But whatever they say must be affirmed to, because that's why they are supreme. That's why you call it Supreme Court, because after them is God. But the reason why we question these things is because the judiciary have sold themselves over time. The judiciary in Nigeria had ridiculed themselves over time. Let us go back to the words that give us this demonstration of madness that we call democracy. In the trial of Donald Trump recently, where people thought that overwhelmingly they have the evidence that the Republicans will shame and convict Donald Trump in Senate. We know where we're going to, because the Republicans refused to shame Donald Trump. They acquit him. It was only Matt Rodney, that said, my conscience will not allow me to do it, and found him guilty. The reason why I went in that area is that if it had happened in America, people would just say something in the day and forget about it. But the judiciary is pay as you go. The judiciary have failed us, and he knows that. I mean, you know him, Pa Adams. He's been here all day. You don't pay him. He's adding more value, saying this thing has to be done like this. Sometimes we don't accord with him most of the time what he's saying, but we don't know in our heart that it's building a nation.
Yes, that's the sacrifice we all have to give.
That's what he's doing.
A painless sacrifice.
Of course. That's what he's doing. Okay? So, and that is the reason why you hear this cry today that, oh, APC is doing this. We have a right to try precedents. What do you use? You use what the word terms is a Latin term called the prima facie. Prima facie is what you use is an evidence. So why do we have precedent? Because something must be tried. And that's why he told you again, yes, it has happened before. And let us see how it will go.
Let's see how it goes. Thank you very much, Chief Eholo. Well, as we round off.
All right, let me quickly say that every ideal democratic society is driven by the respect for the rule of law. You know, my only problem in this case is, if you look at the past, before the Bayelsa thing, our politicians and our leaders seems to have one mindset. Everything must be contested. Even elections, you look at everybody, there's always sabotage, because fundamentally there's a problem with the system. Like Mr. Patrick have said, there's a problem with the system. There's no trust for our electoral empire. There's no trust for the security apparatus. There's no trust for the judiciary. You know, so everything is suspected.
There's no trust for oneself.
There's no even trust for
oneself. Can you also add that?
You see, but basically, it's an issue of distrust. This is sad, but this is how far we've gone as a nation. You know, for a man to start threatening that there will be no inauguration, even when there's a provision of the law. You know, at first, when we started getting that news, I thought maybe the law doesn't even give you a chance to say you can question the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court.
You know?
Otherwise, you will get Islam.
You know, I thought so.
We have a custodian of the law here.
Yes.
On what circumstances
we need.
If you feel aggrieved, the Supreme Court can resist and even talk back on its former decision. They are judicial precedents.
You know, why we're saying this is that, like some statement credited to the National Chairman of the Progressive Congress, and that people believed, you know, excited the violence in Bayelsa.
That was
wasn't that too far against the verdict of the Supreme Court.
Nobody knows who told those hoodlums.
No, I'm not talking about hoodlums. I'm talking about the statement that he made that were provocative, that
There will be no
that induces aggression instead of promoting peace.
That if the Supreme Court does not entertain it again, there be aggression.
Oh no, you seem
but
I think you don't want to accept that.
I think what
was it? The statement credited to him, you know, people believe that it provokes violence. As a national chairman, it's expected that whatever you say should bring about peace and not the other way around. Don't you think that statement was too far?
He was talking as an individual.
Okay.
He did not direct people to take the laws into their hands.
Okay.
He has done the constitutionality by revisiting the matter to the Supreme Court and telling them to sit over it. And they will sit over it.
Thank you.
But it will be speculative
to
assume which side the receipt will go to.
Okay, your final words in 10 seconds.
My final words that in 10 seconds is that we should use our military to rescue the Chibok girls and protect our borders instead of we using our military, ringing election and using our hunters to patrol and rescue kidnappers.
Thank you. Not also leaving the Dapchi school girls.
Yes.
Sharibu.
Yes.
I want to
we hope to see her back.
I want to
whether as a family or.
Of course. I want to lend my voice to the current call. There should be an immediate retirement or sack of the present service chief. They have not done us any good. Things have gotten worse. Now listen.
It was not a referendum.
Let me
No,
sir, but they have already stayed for 35 years. They have already stayed for 35 years. That's a constitution.
Let him air his view. He has the right to air his view.
Even
let him finish.
We had no, sir. We had a situation.
Let him finish.
We also had a situation in the past where people had to calm down, even in public service and all of that, because they have already gotten 35 years. But the issue is what result. Are we better off? Are we better off? We have been calling for the military to attack. Are we better off? Or is the situation worse? Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. If I go down, maybe the solution is the start.
If the person that appointed them, if the person that appointed them is not competent, the same people appointed are incompetent. Their best is not good enough for us.
It's not good enough. Both the presidency and the senate
have all been articulated enough. Thumbs up to you, outside game. And I have another outside game. Thumbs up to you, and of course, thumbs up to you.
We need security. We need to be safe.
We take a rest on this. It's been TMI Tuesday. We're not going yet. Still TMI Tuesday. We'll take a break.